You don't notice it at first because it just feels like a glitch. Then you brush it off because life is busy with deadlines, school runs, dinner to make, emails to send, and people depending on you. You tell yourself you're tired, or it's just one of those weeks, or I just need a holiday. And that works for a while. So you keep going, and everyone around you keeps thinking you've got it all together. And then one morning, you notice you've lost patience with small things that barely used to register. This is your decision point. And it's at this point that you can decide that either life needs to change or accept that this is how it's going to be and accept the consequences. So, how do you know that you've hit that crossroads? Because it's not dramatic. It doesn't hit you with a thunderbolt. There's no neon sign flashing, change now. It's the accumulation of small, persistent feelings that something isn't working for you anymore. And the sneaky part is that you're still managing, still coping, still making everything look fine from the outside. That's what makes it easy to ignore. After all, you can deal with it later, once life has calmed down. And while that might feel comfortable, staying where you are is also a decision, whether you like to admit it or not. And it's costing you energy, patience, and happiness. Now, coming to that crossroads in life isn't with you all of a sudden going, oh, I need to figure out this crossroads. It's more like a sense of nagging unease, which may sound like I'm exhausted, even when I rest. I keep thinking about doing things differently, then I talk myself out of it. I feel like I'm going through the motions, and I don't know why. And every time you voice it, you realize you've been giving yourself every reason to ignore what's been going on. That's when the work can begin. Recognizing the discomfort, the impatience, and the restless thoughts are all a compass pointing towards change, the change that you've been resisting. So, how do you know it's time to step off of autopilot and do something? I'm going to give you some tips, but not in the classic sense. It's more like an invitation to notice yourself and act in ways you've been avoiding. So I want you to observe your reactions over time. It's not a single bad day that signals you've reached a crossroads. It's the repeated exhaustion, irritation, or lack of joy that tells you something has to change. I'd like you to notice the patterns in your I don't know moments. Because every time you say you're unsure or still figuring it out, pause and ask yourself whether it's really indecision or if you've already made a decision unconsciously by continuing to do the same thing. I'd like you to look at your actions, not your thoughts. You see, your behavior is the honest mirror of your current choices. If your actions don't align with what you claim to want, that's a crossroads in itself. And you also need to ask the hard question. If nothing changes in 6 months, will I be okay with that? The answer to this will tell you exactly what's going on. It's then up to you what to do next. And I want you to take one intentional step forward. Change isn't about taking a big leap. It comes through a series of small decisions and picking one thing each week that nudges your life in a different direction. So I want you to take some time, 5 minutes in the morning, and think about which direction is best for you and in what way you can travel in that direction that's right for you. And sometimes it might be changing the boundaries because you've been putting them in place and sticking to them for years. Sometimes it might be that you need to show up differently in your work or relationships. And sometimes it's finally giving yourself permission to want something different. The moment you stop pretending you're stuck is the moment you own your small, persistent decision and everything changes. You don't have to do it all today. Instead, do one thing at a time. Start noticing. Start with one honest choice, one conversation, one boundary, one small change in the way you show up. The crossroads you've been dancing around won't disappear on their own, and ignoring them stretches the discomfort. The choice is always yours. The question is, what decision will you make? Let me know how you're dealing with your crossroads.